Yo, what's happening, people? And welcome back to the Tiki Taka podcast, where you're going to hear hot takes, unbiased opinions, and hopefully have a couple laughs along the way.
Yes.
Now, as you can see from the title of this episode, if you've clicked on it, we're not doing our usual Premier League roundup. I know guys are going to accuse us of our title race is over and now there's no more roundup, and Liverpool won again and Arsenal dropped points and United fans want us to talk about the game. We'll cover what I feel like needs to be covered in the game through MVPs and rookies.
Yeah,
because
that's the best way. There wasn't much going on this weekend.
I think there was it was an uninspiring round of fixtures. We just said off air that Forest Man City was probably the maybe the most enjoyable game because of the result, but it was a horrible game. Almost fell asleep. I sent you the clip of Troops falling asleep during the Arsenal United one. That was me, man.
Premier starving. I said it last week on the pod of titles decided, relegation is looking somewhat decided, and
one of the ideas I had was just talk about top four because that's the only thing that's left.
Yes,
But I was like, we just gave our predictions last week. If you haven't seen that video, go and watch that video.
Link.
So I was like, we're just regurgitating the same content. So we've changed it up this week. As Thomas Tuchel's picking his first England squad on Friday, we thought we'd try and pick a combined squad between me and Michael. We're going to try and agree on the 26-man squad that we would pick. We'll also talk about who we think Tuchel might pick and whether we think that that's right or wrong, and maybe Tuchel has his favourites. Obviously, guys are happy that Gareth Southgate's no longer picking his favourites.
Yeah.
But once you see Tuchel maybe pick some of his, there might be some problems there as well. We'll talk about all of that. He's got some Chelsea ties.
And because I was going to say, just on the, now it's no longer Gareth Southgate. I remember just the mood and the vibe and the energy around Gareth Southgate's deadline is on Friday for him to pick his squad, and
nobody was.
Everybody,
yeah.
Or,
we know Maguire.
We know exactly. Calvin Phillips, who's not played all season, is coming in.
Jordan Henderson from Saudi is coming to play. And,
it's just it was bad vibes.
100%, and for sure, if it was still Gareth Southgate, we definitely wouldn't be doing this episode. We would have found something else to talk about. And worst case scenario, we would have just spoken about the games this weekend because that's probably more interesting than Gareth Southgate.
100%.
But considering this is Thomas Tuchel's first one, I feel like we're both kind of more locked into England now. We're ready to see even though England's 2 games are Albania and Latvia.
I was about to say I bleed the Three Lions, but I don't even know about Albania and Latvia.
You're lucky this isn't live, because if you had said that, I could have edited it out. But I'll wear the shirt. I think I might wear the shirt.
You think I might grab one?
Yeah, I'd.
Do you know what? I don't mind wearing the shirt, but for me, I feel, and there's very little logic to support this. But something about the 3 white, the white 3 white lion shirt.
3 lines on the shirt.
I'm not a fan of. If there was a black kit, if there was a double colored kit, even the red one, I can get behind the red one.
Yeah.
But the white 3 lions shirt, it seems like
with Ranieri on the back. We'll get there.
We will get there.
But yeah, so look, and then on Friday, Thomas Tuchel announces his squad. We can see how many players we might have picked in common with Tuchel. We're not trying to pick the squad that Tuchel will pick. We are picking the squad that we would pick. But obviously, I think there's going to be some no-brainers.
We could be Tuchel's
exactly
in disguise.
We've seen how many games Tuchel's at.
Exactly.
You might not need to go to them anymore.
We're the analysts. We know that. Exactly. We know what you like, Victor.
Exactly. So subscribe if you're watching. I'm still seeing the stats for all of you guys that are watching and aren't subscribed. Please just click the subscribe button, and also like the video if you are watching this, and let us know below what you think. So I've tried to format this in a certain way. Obviously, we're not full-time podcasters, so
yeah,
we've done our best.
With us.
Yeah, the 26-man squad that I think Tuchel will pick roughly 3 goalkeepers, maybe about 8 defenders, 8 midfielders, and 7 forward players. And we'll go through them and speak about all the potential players that I've got written down here. There might be some players that I've missed, but I've tried to cover all bases. If you're going to tell me that I've missed Harwood Bellis, then just turn off the video, because Harwood Bellis doesn't need to.
And if you're a Southampton fan,
yeah, come on. I know he made the last Lee Carsley's last one, and he scored, and that's nice. Good, happy for him. But come on, man. So quickly, injuries, yeah, and whether these guys are not playing because they're injured or because they're not good enough, it's irrelevant because we're just not going to pick these guys in case anyone's asking. So Calvert-Lewin's injured, Bukayo Saka's injured, Madueke's injured, Mason Mount is injured, which is an interesting one.
Yeah,
because we're talking about Tuchel's favourites.
Yeah,
Kobbie Mainoo's injured and Lewis Hall is injured. So none of them are going to be included in the squad that we pick, right? And like I say, whether that's because they wouldn't make it anyway or because they're injured is irrelevant at this point, right? So firstly, we'll do the goalkeepers because the goalkeepers should be fairly straightforward. So on the list, for goalkeepers, we've got Jordan Pickford, Nick Pope, Dean Henderson, Aaron Ramsdale, and James Trafford, and we'll pick 3 of them.
I think goalkeepers.
I think Pickford,
I was about to say, not even just that he's going to go. I think Pickford is just going to start because has anybody really done enough to usurp Pickford as the starter?
Well, I mean, now might be. We have many conversations about Ramsdale off there. Now might be a good time to. When you talk about usurp, Ramsdale might be the only one on that list that was on that trajectory.
100% was on that trajectory and was put on that trajectory. And he's taken himself off the trajectory. I don't really want to be an England starter or have any sort of England future career. And I really Pickford, I think, will go. I think Henderson will go.
Yeah, Dean Henderson, I think, is having a decent season.
He's having a decent season. And then
one more.
I do think
Nick Pope's only just come back from injury.
I do think Aaron Ramsdale will go, but I could also see him going for James Trafford if he's trying to have an eye for the future. I don't know. Ramsdale's not even old. It's not even that Ramsdale's like. It's not even that Ramsdale's like 30.
He's younger than those other two. I'm pretty sure. Henderson and
it's not
well, maybe not Henderson.
It's not that Ramsdale's 32 or whatever. But I just I think Ramsdale's put himself in such a weird situation where he is. I still think a decent quality keeper, but he's done nothing in these last year or 2 years to suggest that he deserves an England call-up. He was on the bench all of last season.
Yeah, didn't even play.
And then in the games that he did play, shaky. Didn't look like he can just come in and do a job. Doesn't look like he's switched on like that. And then now this season, he might be the keeper that's conceded the most goals in the Premier League.
He is, for sure.
Yeah. So it's like, and then Pickford, I think he's just stayed the same.
Ramsdale's going to play Championship football next year. Unless he gets a move. And James Trafford's going to play Premier League football.
Yeah, so that's my point.
Right, so when you talk about a trajectory, and now Ramsdale's going, and James Trafford, who we saw last year, started getting benched from Muric, and Muric is a scrub. And so Pickford, Henderson, both agree with, and I think I agree that it will probably be Aaron Ramsdale, probably because Nick Pope's just been injured.
Exactly.
Otherwise, maybe Ramsdale might not even be in the 3 that go.
Well, what do you feel about those crop of keepers anyway? And keepers are not. There's very.
I think Dean Henderson might actually be the best one. He's had a decent year.
Apart from Germany, which are like one of the only countries I've known to ever have a golden generation of keepers.
Trap.
Ortega. Keepers normally one country has like one good keeper, and then it's like, oh, who else is there can go?
Yeah.
And this is like, in my opinion, I'd say this is like, you've got like 3 meaty keepers. On their day, Pickford can be good. On his day, Henderson can be good. But I don't know if I'd really, even Ramsdale, back any of them to be like my, as we were saying about that whole Conte thing, you can't get your keeper wrong. You can't get
yeah.
I don't know if they feel, and that's why I think Pickford will stay, just to keep some semblance of
Pickford will definitely
consistency / confidence. I don't think Tuchel's going to change it up too much, and the only reason you can't change it up too much is because no one else is giving him a reason.
Exactly. But, and I agree with your Meaty statement, but I think Dean Henderson's maybe just above Meaty. I think Dean Henderson, the Palace, they're a nice defense, and
yeah.
And so look, that's enough on goalkeepers. So we'll move it on. So we'll go to fullbacks first. So I've broken this down: fullbacks and centre backs. We'll try to pick 2 right backs, 2 left backs, and then 4 centre backs. And then that'll be our 8 defenders. But we'll see how that goes. So for fullbacks, the list: Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker, Reece James, Tino Livramento, Tyrick Mitchell, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Jed Spence, Ben Chilwell, Kieran Trippier, Luke Shaw, and Rico Lewis. Now, well, we're obviously looking at the order that I've written them down in. That's the order that I was kind of thinking they might get called up in, right?
You
Or
think?
the priority that they might have to them. But again, it was just
It's bold of you to put Trent first then.
Trent's the best English right back without a doubt.
He is now.
That's not bold. That's just. But and wait till he goes to Madrid and you won't be saying any of this.
No. Look, I agree with what you've said, but in terms of like, will Tuchel give Trent the call first for fullbacks?
But also at the same time, as much as I'm looking at Tuchel, I'm also looking. This is what we're going to
pick. What we would pick, I agree.
Trent's number one. Yeah,
he's the best fullback.
English fullback. Full stop.
Yeah.
And look, I'd love to say Ben White, yeah, but I've got Ben White on the centre backs list because I think for England that's where he'll play.
No, Trent is the best fullback. He's the best fullback on this list for sure.
Yeah,
he's the right age profile.
We can't argue.
Yeah. It's taken a lot out of me to actually, but it's true.
But he's going to Madrid in the summer, so you're okay with it now.
Yeah, because then he'll be a baller.
Yeah.
They get his hands on him.
Immediately it'll change. But yeah, so look, Trent, we know now. If we do go for the 2 right backs, 2 left backs thing, that means that there's only one more right back spot for probably Kyle Walker, Reece James, Tino Livramento, maybe Jed Spence. Guys want to talk about Jed Spence. I think Trippier and Rico Lewis, I think Trippier's not really played that much.
I actually don't know, man.
Tuchel could pick Trippier.
Exactly. I think between Trippier and Kyle Walker, there's only one spot for the old head, aged, experienced, seen it all, done it all guy.
I think he's picking Kyle Walker in that situation.
And I get that. I get the nod towards Kyle Walker. He's been there, done that, however many times over.
And Trippier's getting benched for Livramento.
And that's so my next point was going to be, there is that one space left, I think, for the old head, traditional English right back. Yeah. And I agree, it probably should be Kyle Walker. I would go with Kyle Walker over Trippier. But I also
having Rico Lewis.
I also do think that Tuchel could pick 3 right backs and 1 left back.
We don't have to do it that way. We can pick 3.
Because I do think Tino Livramento
play right and left.
Yeah. And has a bit of
Jed Spence. Rico Lewis, they can play right and left.
Look,
Jed Spence, I think he deserves some props.
He does deserve a lot of props.
Every game that I've seen Jed Spence play for Tottenham since he's come back into the team,
he does deserve a lot of props.
I think he's their best fullback.
He does deserve a lot of props. It's true. And Jed Spence has proven to be a good player. You're right.
I think the England call up maybe
it's too soon now.
A bit early now.
Yeah, it's too soon.
But I wanted to put him on the list and maybe have a bit of a conversation because I think he's been playing well.
No, he definitely deserves his respect. No banter. Like he's ever since Udogie and them man have been out, Jed Spence's been their best fullback, if not defender.
Yeah.
But
right and left as well.
I think I agree with you. Trent goes. I think he will pick Walker over Trippier, but I do think he could pick Livramento over, for example, Mitchell or even Lewis Skelly. And then, but then it leaves him with no natural left-footed.
Well, okay, so if we do this, we know Trent's going, right? And then we know that minimum, he's got to take 1 left back. Left-footed left back.
I agree.
Right?
Minimum.
Right? So then we're looking at Tyreek Mitchell, Miles Lewis-Skelly.
Or Luke Shaw.
Or Ben Chilwell.
Oh, yeah.
Because Ben Chilwell started getting minutes here and there for Palace, but...
So we can discount Shaw because I don't think Shaw's going to get the call.
Yeah.
Also,
I've just left Shaw on the list because of Gareth Southgate PTSD. And
anything can happen.
And he'll come to the World Cup.
Luke Shaw, by the way, it's funny because I just told you about, is Tuchel giving Trent the call first. Luke Shaw's agent and team and camp have definitely given Tuchel. Don't worry, Luke Shaw's ready. Luke Shaw's available to play.
If you need him, he'll come. And even if he's not fit, he'll hang around with the lads and he'll keep the...
We used to have the same arrangement with Gareth, and Gareth always used to appreciate Luke Shaw's inputs and team meetings, and he kept vibes high.
The leadership squad, the team or whatever. We'll rule Luke Shaw out. Rico Lewis.
Rico Lewis, he's not a Tuchel guy at all. Tuchel...
Because you had a lot of time for Rico Lewis earlier on in the season.
In a Pep system, and all I was saying about Rico Lewis was that Rico Lewis was going to get minutes, and I was proven right. Yeah? In a Pep system, Rico Lewis...
Yeah, but he stopped getting minutes for a reason.
Can maybe work, yeah. Well, everybody had to stop getting minutes at some point.
Not Gavardio.
He's cooked.
Because they've got a score. Okay, calm. So, Chilwell, Lewis Skelly, or Mitchell?
Who I would pick
for a left-footed left back.
I can't lie.
taking one.
And this is like,
and the Chilwell Mitchell thing is because they both play for the same club, and it's obvious that Mitchell is.
that's what I was gonna say. I would actually pick Mitchell. And look, I love Lewis Skelly.
Yeah.
Love him to death. Love him to bits. Think he's next up. Think all of this. But if you're gonna have one left-footed fullback, left back, let them be a traditional left back, in my opinion. Yeah, because Lewis Skelly, as good as he is, and he should make left back his own position and all the rest, he spent 7, 8, 9 years, 10 years of his career learning to be a midfielder, and in the Arteta system, he works good as the left back. I don't know.
Tuchel might appreciate that.
No,
the tactical level and
100%. Tuchel might appreciate it. Tuchel could appreciate it. Tuchel would get a lot out of Lewis Skelly. I'm just thinking that if I'm gonna go with Trent, Walker, Livramento,
those three, you're picking those three, yeah. So you're not picking Reece James.
I know Tuchel is. I'm not picking Reece James.
But
but I know Tuchel.
You know, on Friday.
Yeah. I know Tuchel is.
Cool.
So that's who I would go with, and then I would go with a traditional left back. And Mitchell, it's not even just this season.
Agreed.
Mitchell's been sturdy, and he's been.
Look, I agree. I couldn't love Lewis Skelly.
Exactly.
I couldn't love him more, but Mitchell's been mashing work in the Premier League for a minute now.
Mitchell had his breakout
it's a bit harsh
a couple years ago, and he's just stayed the same.
Now come and move Lewis Skelly in there before Tyrick Mitchell gets a chance, and I think Mitchell's a decent player.
He is. He just knows his
who's
role.
Better?
No, I think
out of the two?
I think Skelly is like a quote unquote better footballer. Obviously, Skelly can play multiple positions. As you said, the tactical stuff Arteta's got him on. But who is just a better left back? I need my left back to defend. I need my left back to put a ball in the box. I need my left back to bomb up and down and sort of provide energy. I know Mitchell was just that's it. He spent 12 years of his academy life just training to be that. And as I said, I think the nod I would give Mitchell over Skelly is just simply that this is his first season of playing football.
Yeah.
Professional men's football.
Yeah.
For Mitchell, this is like his third season. He had his breakout season like 2 seasons ago, taking over from when Patrick left, and who's going to take over from Patrick? And
yeah.
Now
played on a different manager.
Yeah, it's just Mitchell.
He transitioned himself to a wing back as well. I never really thought Mitchell would be able to be a wing back. I thought that's, like you say, a traditional kind of left back.
Yeah.
But he plays as a wing back. He gets forward. I would pick Trent. I'd probably pick Tyrick Mitchell.
So we agree on those two.
Yeah, I think Livramento deserves to go because he can also play on both sides. But then I think I would pick Reece James.
I'm not mad at Reece James, and I know what Tuchel can get.
Pick Lewis Skelly though.
I know what Tuchel can get out of Reece James, and also the good thing with
are you really picking Walker over Reece James?
Bro, do you know what's funny though?
There's a pedigree there for sure.
But like, I don't know, like before the January transfer window, no chance.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
But the whole Walker going to Italy thing.
Have you seen where Milan are?
I know
how far they've dropped down the table.
Exactly. That's my point. Is the whole Walker bailing out of City, going to Italy, extracurricular factors included. That I'm not really sure where Walker's...
You sent me a Daily Mail tweet today that
nasty work.
Just go on Twitter.
I'm not really sure where Walker's head is at. Whereas with Reece, you'll always have the is he going to be injured thing. But at least I know Reece is coming back with a point to prove. I don't think Walker is even coming back to the England squad.
And this might be one of the only England squads that Reece James is ever fit and available for. So take him and let him go and let him play for England.
And also, why Tuchel will take him is for exactly what you've just mentioned. Because if Reece James scores versus Albania and Latvia, when he's later called in for the tournament,
it's going to be a Luke Shaw thing.
We can say, but he's played versus Albania.
He hasn't played all season for Chelsea, but he's ready for England because we've seen him in the Tuchel system.
When Tuchel picks him later on and Tuchel wants him in other matchday squads and tournaments, we can all say, but he played in Albania and Latvia and he did well 100%. And he seems to know the system and Tuchel obviously likes him and they can do the whole Maguire, but the leadership group, they love him, and Reece James is very vocal about he's one of our four captains that we have. And
Yeah, Tuchel's gonna love it.
Tuchel's gonna
I'm telling you guys, watch out. Yeah, you'll hear it here on the podcast first. Yeah, Ben Chilwell he's gonna make an England squad before 2026.
Before 2025, yeah. I also
he will
think
make an England squad
as an overarching statement, there'll be a lot of guys who's just going to be consistent. Like for example, Saka will miss this one, but we'll get there for the next one. Tuchel will he'll have a 26-man squad now, and then the next squad he picks, there will be like 20 changes. There'll be like 6 players there.
They're even saying now that Tuchel's created like a 55-man list of England players that we've seen how many games Tuchel's been at, how many players he's been watching. But you know what? I'm going to make a last-minute change here and I might go against some of the things I've just said, but I'm going to pick Lewis Skelly. So Trent,
Skelly,
James, Livramento, and Skelly.
I can't go against Lewis Skelly.
Only because I think Lewis Skelly, and it genuinely might just be bias and how much I love the guy, but I do think Lewis Skelly's better than Mitchell. So if he's better than Mitchell, I should probably pick him.
I do think Lewis Skelly's better than Mitchell. And the reason...
Otherwise, we're doing the Gareth Southgate favoritism. He's done it for longer. And if he's better than him, I should probably pick him, right?
Actually, is he better than him?
It's a debate. Is he? Like we say, Mitchell's been mashing work, but I personally think he is.
I think the reason Lewis Skelly could get it is quite simply the Arsenal tax, and not like the squad guys might look together and say, "Well, we've got Henderson in there already. How many Crystal Palace players do we need?" There'll be.
There might end up being 4.
Well, actually, this is going back what I've just said. Southgate was the only guy to take 4 Crystal Palace players, national record of Palace players.
At the end of this, I think we might have 4 Palace players, right? And we're going to be looking at it like, oh, Southgate was onto something.
He deserves his credit.
But I think Livramento is a key one as well because he can play on both sides. So I think Livramento...
I would pick Lewis Skelly, but I honestly don't think Tuchel will pick Lewis Skelly, especially with the recent Arteta disciplinaries that Arteta's been dishing out. But I agree with your overall, if I think Lewis Skelly is a better player, I'll pick Lewis Skelly type thing. I 100% I agree with that. And you know what, man? I hear it. The tactical flexibility. I mean, we know Tuchel's a tactical guy.
Yeah.
And if he wanted a box standard traditional left back, he could just play Livramento.
Yeah.
He would do everything that a traditional left back would do, but he would just...
But also Lewis Skelly, if you look at Lewis Skelly and you say, what position is Lewis Skelly? He's a left back.
He is.
In men's football
that's
right
now.
He's ever played.
Yeah, he is right now.
Right? But look, we have to come to a decision. So we've got Trent, we've got Livramento, Dennis, Walker or James, and is it Mitchell or Lewis?
I'm going to go James, and I'm going to go...
I'll agree and go James as well.
I'll go Skelly.
Okay, cool.
But that one, guys, I'm not gonna lie. You could toss a coin. You could close your eyes, toss a coin.
That's why I said, look, if guys want to accuse us of bias, then that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. I have no issues with that.
But we've given Mitchell his love at least.
It's not We've spoken about all of these guys. Again, I think Jed Spence is one to look out for. I think Jed Spence screams Thomas Tuchel fullback. Kyle Walker replacement coming up here. You need Jed Spence to lock down the fastest winger. I think he screams Thomas Tuchel. So I think Jed Spence
I would literally murder to be Thomas Tuchel's assistant or note taker when he's at these games. When Tuchel sees Spence in a 60-yard dash and he's raised an eyebrow, he's go, oh, he has that.
You know what? One guy that I haven't put on this list yet, we've seen an upturn in form with the new manager, is Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, that is true.
Who again, he's not on this list, but again, there's options there for Tuchel. We've seen Wan-Bissaka play right back and left back.
Tuchel's at the... I'd love to see the Tuchel.
Oh, Wan-Bissaka. So he can play in a 5-back and put that ball in. So look, he's got options. But those are the 4 we're going for: Trent, James, Livramento, and Lewis Skelly. Now onto the centre backs. So again, we'll I think 4 is a good number, right?
Yeah.
2 starters, 2 backups. So the list here: Ezri Konsa, Mark Gahey, John Stones, Ben White, Fikayo Tomori, Eric Dyer, Levi Colwill, Jared Branthwaite, Lewis Dunk, Tyrone Mings, and Harry Maguire. Is the list I've got there. Joe Gomez is injured. Liverpool fans asking about that. So
don't worry about Joe Gomez, guys. Don't worry.
He maybe could have been in the fullback.
Don't worry about Joe Gomez.
But so this, and look again how I've written that. I think Ezri Konsa is probably the best English centre back.
I'd agree.
So yeah, you agree?
No, I'd agree because I was literally just
And he's
saying
from
this.
Redbridge, so shout out. Ezri.
Shout out Ezri. I was also saying to my friends, like, I know people will be like, John Stones, how can you disrespect John Stones and what John Stones has done for his club and country over these years? Trust me, I think John Stones has been a good defender. I think he's justified his 50 mil price tag way back when guys said John Stones would never live up to that and all of this kind of stuff. But I just think where we're at right now with John Stones is very shaky territory.
Yeah, agreed.
Very
Like we're not
shaky
looking at
territory.
this like we're judging them across their whole career.
Yeah,
We're picking a squad for Friday.
Yeah, literally.
Right? And for games next week.
John Stones this season has not been the best version. There's been some good John Stones games, and there's been some. What was the game the other day? It was the Arsenal game. There was like four goals. Like John Stones is directly involved in all four of these goals.
Yo, I mean, you say he's had some good games.
Not many.
I can't remember.
Not many.
Off the top of my head.
No, there must be at least one, but there's not many.
Not one that I can remember. But...
And I know we're picking the squad just for this Friday, so we'll keep that in mind. But I'm also thinking about the 2026 World Cup, and I'm like, if I think John Stones is on shaky ground now, where will I think John Stones will be in a year's time? Like, I think
that would we cannot call because Pep could have him
on the resurgence
like Messi.
Peds. But my point still stands of like,
and on that point as well, because Mark Gahey, a lot of guys said he was England's best player.
Yeah.
England's best player at the Euros, and I like Mark Gahey. I rate Mark Gahey. I think he's a good centre back. And realistically, at that tournament, I think the pairing probably should have been Gahey and Konsa. But I do think Ezri Konsa is better than Mark Gahey. I think Mark Gahey makes more mistakes than Ezri Konsa does.
Ezri Konsa, I agree. He's the prototype.
Yeah, for real.
He's the prototype. He's solid, but yeah, just for those who are talking about Stones, and I think Stones will go in the squad if he's fit. Don't get me wrong. I think Stones will go, but like I think that the centre back positions for England are so up for grabs because I really don't think anybody has it like nailed on. And as much as we're saying we think Konsa's the best English centre back right now, or who I'd have nailed on to start for England, I don't know if Tuchel like really has anybody nailed down. I think he's like, I'll wait and see. I'll get a hold of guys and see what they can do.
But again, like if Tuchel's gonna, I can't imagine Tuchel's gonna pick a back four that doesn't have Ezri Konsa.
I agree.
Even if he wants to play Ezri Konsa at right back, because we've seen Ezri Konsa play there this season, right? I can't imagine he's gonna pick. But there's no way Konsa should play right back for England because he, like we said, he's the best centre.
Yeah,
so
and we have too many other options to play there. So Konsa's for sure. Yeah, I think Gahey will go.
We've spoken a bit on Gahey. We've done a bit on Stones. Ben White, that's an interesting one to talk about because obviously Ben White hasn't. The newspapers are now describing it as self-enforced exile. That Ben White has done by not making himself available to England because we don't even know if Ben White is available.
Yeah,
all we know is that Tuchel's reached out to him and they've had conversations, and we don't know what the outcome of that is. So that we'll find out on Friday. But I put Ben White on the list.
I think Ben White should go, but I don't think Ben White will go.
But again, this is what we're gonna pick. And why don't you think he'll go? Because he doesn't want to play for England?
No, because I think they could have sorted that out. And Ben White could have said, yeah, under Southgate, I wasn't really liking things, but I'll give your new regime a try. I just think that we actually haven't seen much of Ben White since November.
Yeah, but Tuchel's seen enough.
Like
Tuchel saw him in a 2-legged Champions League tie last year.
Yeah, and I agree. And I agree in terms of like
Tuchel wouldn't even need to reach out to him if it wasn't a thing of like,
no,
I want you to play here.
I know Tuchel knows how good the player Ben White is, and I know how good Ben White would fit any Tuchel system.
Yeah.
Whether he needs him as a right back, a wing back, a centre back, Ben White's there for that, yeah. But just in terms of for this Friday, like Konsa, Gahey, Stones, Tomori, Colwill, Branthwaite, Dunk, even Mings, Maguire, Dyer have all played way more minutes in the last 2 weeks. I told you the cameo that Martinelli did yesterday is more of the minutes Ben White has put combined.
Well, we're going to see Ben White start on Wednesday against PSV.
We will.
He'll get 90 minutes under his belt.
Hopefully, he gets 90 minutes under his belt. So the reason I would go against Ben White is nothing.
But then
to
there's
do
also
with
a
skill.
level of like, Tomori, Colwill, Branthwaite, Dunk, Mings, who you've mentioned there. No matter how many minutes them man have had in the last 2 weeks, I don't think they should take a place over Ben White.
I don't think
there's levels
Mings.
to it.
Who else did you say? I don't think Mings for sure. Dunk for sure. Branthwaite for sure.
Colwill.
Colwill's an interesting one.
Because of the Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel's going to want to...
Chelsea ties and left-footed. And I don't know if there's another left-footed centre-back on this Mings. I don't know if there's another left,
Yeah.
And Mings isn't going to go.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so we may as well talk about Colwill. As much as I'm on record, Colwill hater.
I think Colwill goes.
Sometimes we like, you got to remember, Levi Colwill's 21. Yeah, so like the mistakes that Levi Colwill makes, he should be allowed to make those mistakes and whatnot. And I actually think on the whole, I think he's played almost every game for Chelsea this season. He's made himself fit and available, and he's done all right. Yeah, as much as I like to get onto him. But would I pick him in the top 4? I do think Tuchel, I
also think Tuchel can go for Dyer. I really do.
Yeah, that would be... I'm not on board with that.
I think that could
all of our jargon at the top of the show, 3 lions on the chest, and if he picks Eric Dyer, there's
I think that could be so on the cards because one, it's a spanner in the works. Like if Tuchel had to pick between Dyer and Maguire, I think he's gonna go with the guy that he knows.
Yeah,
and
I think that's fair.
Sort out fair. From
but it's not. We're not picking between Dyer and
Maguire. I think also it's just the thing of like
I take Branthwaite before I take Dyer.
I would take Branthwaite before I take Dyer, but this is what we're gonna do, so I agree with that. But just putting myself in Tuchel's shoes, I think he's gonna go. One, Dyer will listen to everything I say. If I tell Dyer to jump, he'll say how, and everybody should do that. But he knows for sure that Dyer's gonna do that. I've saved Dyer's career. Dyer was nowhere in Tottenham, and then I brought him to Bayern Munich, and now he's gonna. If I tell Dyer to run through a brick wall, if I tell Dyer go on and scissor that guy, rugby tackle, whatever, the Dyer is going. Yes, boss.
That's right.
Si, senor.
That's right. But we're not talking about Gareth Southgate here. Like all of these man when they go.
And as I said, all of these man should. But he knows for sure. He knows for sure.
Yeah, but
and I don't think anybody will talk back. It's not like Stones, who's won the most out of all of these centre backs. I don't think Stones will talk back to Tuchel.
So how you think on Friday Dyer's in that squad?
I do think that there could be I think there's like a 60% chance
that Dyer's in
that Dyer's in the Friday squad. And I just as
he
a
he
mind
doesn't even
fuck,
play for. You talk about
I know he doesn't.
Dyer's fit.
I know he doesn't.
Play.
I know he doesn't. But it's a mind fuck because Tuchel doesn't have to pick between a Ben White that hasn't played, or Maguire who's not really on it, or Mings and Dunk who we've both said shouldn't go. I agree that Colwill should go, and it's whether or not Tuchel.
Well, I didn't say Colwill should go, but he's got a chance.
Yeah, okay, Colwill's got a chance. The reason I said Colwill should go is, as you say, he's played every minute and he's left-footed. Then Tuchel can mold and the angles.
So you take Colwill over Branthwaite?
I'll take Colwill, and especially because if we're gonna take, or Tuchel could potentially take 3 right backs, have a left-footed person there as well, just in case. And Colwill's also played left back, not that,
Miles.
but like 3 right backs and Miles, who's gonna go or potentially could go but won't start.
If we pick 8 defenders, we could, at least 2 of them need to be left-footed. We can't have only one that's left-footed. So I hear that.
So that's my point. And as I say, I wouldn't agree with Dyer. Us 4. Between us 2 picking 4 defenders, Dyer wasn't my guy. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't be shocked really if Dyer goes, just because one, he's a spanner in the works, and it means that Tuchel doesn't have to pick a guy who he's unsure of or doesn't trust.
Yep.
And he knows for sure. I tell Dyer jump. Dyer says how high, how far, boss, how long would you need? Pick up the cones. I'll pick up the cones.
Yeah.
There's no chat talk back, and the Dyer position is probably the guy he's the 4th choice centre back. He's the last one to come on. If
he's the guy that's comfortable with no minutes and happy to be there. And if Dyer was playing for Bayern Munich,
you would hear it.
I think there's a real chance Thomas Tuchel would pick him. But the fact that he's not even playing for Bayern, that's a Southgate thing now.
Yeah.
We're picking guys that aren't playing for their clubs and
but that's the interesting thing was Dyer wasn't playing at Tottenham, and then Tuchel saved him.
Yeah,
and he's benched
and started him
and he's benched some bigger guys.
Yeah. There's a chance, but it will be a Southgate thing if he does that because Dyer's not playing football.
100% it will.
we spoke of Colwill. Jared Bramthwaite, I think's had a good season. I think Jared Bramthwaite's a very good defender.
Yeah, he is. He is.
I think in terms of the left footers on that list are Colwill, Bramthwaite, and Mings. If I was picking the best out of those three, I'd pick Bramthwaite. But Colwill, what he's done this season, and I think Thomas Tuchel is going to give, and it's also part of the reason why I think Lewis Skelly might get the nod. I think Tuchel's going to give a lot of credence to anybody that's played European football at the highest level, right? Whether that's Europa League or Champions League, I think Tuchel's going to give a lot of credence to the guys that have been in major tournaments, have played a lot of knockout football, understand the differences between knockout football and league football. And
I agree.
I think he's going to give a lot of credence to that. And Levi Colwill's been in European football. He's played at a high level ahead of Bramthwaite. Obviously, Villa are in there this year.
And to that point, I think Thomas Tuchel will also give credence to a lot of managers, players that have worked under managers that he respects. And not to say that Tuchel doesn't respect Sean Dyche, because I know he does. There's elements of Sean Dyche's game that he'll appreciate.
Yeah.
But the Colwill, you've played under De Zerbi, you've played under Maresca, you've played under Poch.
Yep.
It's like, I rate all three of those managers. I think all three of those different styles, different systems. If I need you to do this now.
And Colwill would have been at Chelsea when Tuchel was there. So I'm sure Tuchel was aware of him and coming through and whatever. So, all right, look. Konza for sure.
Gay.
No.
Colwill.
I should have put Ben White on the fullbacks list.
Because I don't think, as much as I think Ben White should go to the ultimate tournament and stuff, I don't think Ben White will be chosen
in this squad
for Friday. Even if he does 90 at PSV, I don't think it will be enough to move the needle. And it's not to say that Tuchel doesn't rate Ben White. It's just that he's coming for the next.
I hear that. I think there's a chance that Tuchel doesn't pick Ben White, and the conversations he's having with him are probably more of a long-term thing. But this is us.
Okay.
What we want to pick.
I would pick Ben White then. I'd go Gahey, Konza, Ben White, and Colwill.
No John Stones.
Oh, that's crazy.
So you're leaving John Stones.
But
I want to pick the same four.
But I don't think John Stones has been that good this season, but he's definitely not been worse than Ben White. That's the issue. And Ben White's not been bad.
Solid.
Yeah, Ben White's not.
Even when Ben White was playing,
exactly. It's not that Ben White's putting poor performances. It's just that it's a matter of minutes thing, and this guy's raring to go, quote unquote.
Stones, if you actually did look deep dive into the stats, Stones has probably been in and out of the team.
He has. Stones is literally...
Ben White played every minute. Remember that? Forcing him through knee injury.
The only reason Stones will go... not the only reason, but a large fact as to why Stones will go is the name John Stones, as opposed to what he's done this season and how well he's played.
And what we're saying about the Europe thing, Tuchel's going to give Stones so much pedigree and respect.
Yeah, I also think that with this 26-man squad, Tuchel's not gonna rock the boat too much for the actual squad for the tournament. Yeah, we might not see a Stones name. Tuchel have made decisions. I've had to make tough calls, but for the very first one to get players on side, I'll speak to everybody.
I mean, we didn't pick Walker, and Tuchel will probably pick Walker. So, but us four, or the four we're gonna pick: Konza, Gahey, Ben White, and Colwill.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Yeah.
Okay. So, after all of the shit we've given him this season, Levi Colwill makes our England.
Left foot attacks.
Yeah. Okay, calm. I'm just making a note of this so I can read it out at the end. And I think Bramthwaite, if he gets a move, and Thomas Tuchel could be looking at him in the future. So, centre midfielders now. We'll do this separately to the attacking midfielders, because I think there's different conversations and players involved and whatever. So, in terms of the centre midfielders, so we're talking him playing as a defensive midfielder, number 6 or a number 8. Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Conor Gallagher, Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, Curtis Jones, Jordan Henderson, and Calvin Phillips. And the list of names that we've got there for those two base pivot kind of positions in the midfield. Now, the top 2 are easy.
I actually think the top 3.
Yeah.
The top 2 are easy.
I would agree with you.
But I
would
think the
actually
top
agree with you.
three
But I think the
go.
third one we'll have a conversation about.
Okay.
That's a good one. So Rice and Bellingham, guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
They're in our two that are going. We don't need to say too much.
Yeah,
on that.
yeah.
If anyone was here to hear us talk about the game yesterday, shout out Declan Rice. Superb goal, superb tackle, great performance. We know what Jude Bellingham's going to bring. Now, the third name on this list that Michael's saying is pretty much guaranteed is Conor Gallagher. I agree with that. Again, there's Tuchel links, there's Chelsea links. He's played for him. And of all the other names on that list, Conor Gallagher plays for Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Plays in La Liga.
Yeah.
Are they still top or the second? Or...
They're
in the title race. He's playing for Simeone, playing European football at the highest level.
It's also kind of funny because now that Conor Gallagher is no longer in England, I get
to talk about it differently.
I get to say that I think he offers this England squad something different. I never would have said that if Conor Gallagher
if Conor Gallagher was still a Chelsea player, he'd be below Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton and maybe Curtis Jones. The best thing Conor Gallagher ever did. Yeah, and I know they forced him out of there, but it was good for you, bro. Trust me. Now playing in Atletico, Simeone.
I get to say that Conor offers something different to what everybody else is going to bring to the table, and there's a tactical nous and aggressiveness that Conor's going to bring that is much needed.
And when you look at the England squad and positions where they almost lack, even I've described this list as 6 and 8s, but if England didn't have Declan Rice, I don't know who the hell was going to play number 6.
Yeah,
Calvin Phillips has to go.
So that comes to my fourth choice, and I would go with Wharton because
not Curtis Jones. That's your guy, though. No?
And I really hope Curtis Jones doesn't see any England squads from now moving forward. But I'll go with Wharton because Rice is England's 6, but obviously Rice can do the 6-8 thing, and I don't ever think with Bellingham would need Rice to gallop forward and all this kind of stuff. But just in case Rice is injured or needs to come off or is on a yellow or whatever it might be, you can put Wharton in there and not need to. And Rice and Wharton aren't even the same players, but not need to.
Yeah, agreed. But Wharton can do your 6.
And not need to change. Like you don't need to now move Jude to a certain place or move whoever somewhere else. You can just put Wharton in there and that's agreed. It. That's calm. You know, or even to be fair, maybe Rice isn't even sick or injured to give Wharton his credit. Like maybe Latvia and Albania proved to be tough to break down. And I need to start moving the ball a bit more at the base.
Rice ain't coming off.
I need to move the ball a bit more at the base, and I need to get things popping quickly. And
I'm telling you, I think Rice is potentially the most important quote unquote player in this England team because I just don't think they have another replacement for him.
I think when it comes to the big games, like. And it's crazy to say that because obviously goals the fan big games, but like when it comes to versing top,
we're not even sure that Adam Wharton is a 6. He's never played there on his own before.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, but now we're saying, come on, then.
But even for England, I don't think he will. If it was Wharton,
exactly, which is why I think Rice is potentially the most important England player.
I think Rice is only
not the best, but
I think he's potentially the most important. I think specifically for the big games, and I know goals define big games, but like. I think the Rice midfield stuff versus the best of them is really what can be the difference, you know. But that would be my 4. Honestly, it would be Rice, Bellingham, Gallagher, and Wharton. And I think Elliot Anderson is nice. I think he's cool. Yeah. Curtis Jones, I think, is meaty. Henderson, I think he's done. And Phillips.
There's no way Thomas Tuchel's going to bring Jordan Henderson to camp.
Tuchel kind of like Luke Shaw.
He's the captain of Ajax. And
kind of like Luke Shaw, the Henderson's campers reached out to Tuchel. Tuchel, I'm ready. I'm fit. I'm available if you need me. I used to have this arrangement with Gareth, and I know Tuchel's there at decline.
Leadership.
I don't like the arrangements that Gareth had, and all of those phone calls
I've
are
got
getting.
My own guys for that.
Exactly. All of those phone calls and emails are getting put into a folder, and it's just that's off the inbox. I don't really need to look at that.
And no words needed for Calvin Phillips.
I said Henderson is done, and I think Calvin Phillips is below Henderson. Yeah, it's done.
Agreed. I agree with everything you said there. Other than, I don't think Curtis Jones is meaty. I don't rate Curtis Jones, but I don't think he's meaty.
No, he's meaty.
And I'd probably pick Wharton, but I do think it's close with Elliot Anderson. I think Elliot Anderson's had a very good year.
He has had a good year, but I think Elliot Anderson is too close of a profile to Gallagher.
Agreed.
And I think
I don't think Elliot Anderson, even we're saying it about Walton, but there's absolutely no way Anderson can play by himself in midfield in that position. So I agree. So we've got Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Conor Gallagher, and Adam Wharton. And it's funny, if Gallagher was at Chelsea, he wouldn't be this guaranteed to be in our list, right? But
he's got the Simeone juice now.
Yeah. So attacking midfielders, and now the conversation gets interesting, right? Because there's a lot to talk about here. So our list: Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Morgan Rogers, Morgan Gibbs-White, Emil Smith-Rowe, Abere Eze, and James Maddison. These are all players that I think are probably going to be competing for the number 10 position. I can't imagine Tuchel really playing any of these guys as an 8, unless you say maybe Latvia and tough to break down, and then maybe Gibbs-White or some Rogers or someone goes into an 8 position or whatever. But I think for the majority, especially come tournament football and whatever, these guys are going to be competing for that 1 position as a number 10.
Agreed.
Because I don't think Thomas Tuchel sees Palmer or Foden as wingers. He definitely won't see guys like Eze or Smith-Rowe or Maddison as guys that can play out wide.
Yeah.
Rogers is maybe the only one. I don't even think you'll see Gibbs-White as that. Rogers has played on the wing for Villa, so maybe, but I've put him in this attacking midfielders list. So if we've picked 4 from the centre midfielders list, we can probably pick 3 or 4, depending on how many you think are worthy of taking here. So
I think
Cole Palmer shoe in, regardless of the current form.
Yeah, regardless of the current form, and I think the same for Foden. I really do, because Foden's not been good this season for all by all accounts, but I think he will be a shoe in because Tuchel will love I can make Foden a good player for England. And in my
what's funny though, just quickly, but because Adam Wharton was very certain on Adam Wharton, who has probably played less minutes than Ben White.
Has he? He's been good though the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
There's recency bias. There's recency bias in there.
To be fair, you did say in the last 2 weeks, and Adam Wharton has played football in the last 2 weeks.
It's recency bias for sure with the Ben White thing. The Ben White versus Wharton, but just on the Foden, I just feel like as much for whatever fans think about Foden, myself included, and what Foden's done this season, and we had the pod where we've killed Foden, MVP of the league and player of the year and stuff, and now where are we type stuff. It would be kind of crazy for a manager to come in and I'd say like you don't have to come in and build around Foden, but it'd be crazy for a manager to come in and really say that this guy has he's in none of my plans moving forward, and I want Smith-Rowe and I want Maddison. Yeah. So that's why I think Foden's a shoe-in.
Tuchel will definitely pick Foden.
And I think Tuchel will pick Foden, one, to say, in my system, Foden does this and he does this well. And
no, I don't know if he's going to start.
All of that kind of stuff. He might not start. He definitely might not start. But
he will pick him.
He'll pick him, I think, because he knows Foden can be an important piece moving forward. And it would be... it would be like a stumbling. It would be like a Ben White type situation.
If that's the statement Tuchel wants to make, he's going to be fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even from guys
That's my point. That's my point.
I don't think Foden necessarily deserves to make this.
This
again,
one,
like we're
Friday.
making this a point. Like this Friday squad, I don't think Foden necessarily deserves to make it, but. So I won't be getting onto him, but if he doesn't pick him, he's gonna have the whole English media. That was there, no film.
Yeah.
The most talented since Gaza, since Rooney, all of this stuff will start coming at Thomas Tuchel.
I would equate it to like a French manager, and this is different because he's retired, but a French manager not picking Griezmann. Like, no matter what you think about Griezmann as a player, the nation has decided that Griezmann's our guy.
Yeah.
So if you're not picking Griezmann, you better win the trophies, you better win the games, and it better be 4-0 and 5-0. Otherwise, you've left out our guy for...
100%.
And obviously Griezmann and Foden are in different groups, but...
Morgan Rogers, both...
I think Rogers will go as well.
Gave him best breakout in our awards last week. You think Tuchel will pick him on Friday? Yeah?
I think he screams a Tuchel player. I think the interesting one is Gibbs-White.
Gibbs White's had a very good season.
Gibbs White's had a very good season.
Look at where Forest are in the
Forest
table.
have had a very good season, and
the ball he plays on Saturday to Hudson-Odoi.
Gibbs White has quality. Gibbs White has quality, and he I think deserves more of a chance than Smith Rowe, Eze, Maddison. I think the only thing that could leave Gibbs White out of the team is whether or not a winger deserves maybe more of a shot than Gibbs White. But in terms of the attacking midfielders, if I had to pick 4 attacking midfielders, it would be Gibbs White for what he's done this season. He's just competing for like bench minutes.
Yeah.
With some very talented people as well.
Of course.
Who are also competing for bench minutes.
You mentioned Smith Rowe, Eze, Maddison there. Smith Rowe just hasn't done enough.
Yeah. Not for like
an England caller.
Yeah.
I mean, Smith Rowe's going to have a season where he scores 10 league goals.
Yeah.
In the conversation.
Yeah.
Because like you say, even Morgan Gibbs White, like he'll go and he'll just sit on the bench because of these guys on this list and what Tuchel's going to do. So for Smith Rowe's going to have to score 10 Premier League goals to just get a chance to go and be on the
have
bench.
Like the way Cole Palmer, we're telling Cole Palmer's tailed off, and he doesn't have to be like to the levels of Cole Palmer where he has like Cole Palmer can finish a month with like 5 goals and 4 assists. It doesn't have to be like that, but I think Smith Rowe has to do like a 3-month stint the way Cole Palmer can do a 3-month stint of like just performances, output performances. Because I feel like the thing with Smith Rowe is he's so streaky. He'll have a good game, and then you won't hear from Smith Rowe for 3 weeks. And then you'll have another good game.
You know what you're saying about Rodgers being a Tuchel player? I don't know if there's anyone who's less anti-Tuchel than Emil Smith Rowe. Eze not had a great season.
Yeah, not enough this year.
I think Eze might have only scored 2 or 3 goals.
He's been injured as well. It's not been good.
But he's not been injured for that long, you know. He's played quite a lot.
He's been back recently, but he was out for, it felt like quite a while.
It feels like that because he came back and he
was thinking.
And James Maddison, I mean,
I don't know what to say. He's a fair weather player, isn't he? I don't know if Tuchel needs the opposite of fair weather players. He needs guys that are...
And again, look at where Tottenham are. Look at what they're doing. I mean, there's absolutely no way you can take James Maddison over Morgan Gibbs.
No way.
At this moment in time. So we're doing what we would take. Yeah. Now, I would take Foden still because there's a level of quality there for as poor as Foden has been. So I'm Palmer, Foden. We'll pick 4. If we end up with 27, then we'll have to cut 1 from the final list, but we'll pick 4 again.
Yeah, literally Palmer, Foden, Rodgers, White.
Yeah, agreed. I think the other 3 they haven't done enough.
Yeah.
Palmer, Foden, Rodgers, and Gibbs White. So we'll move on now to the wingers. And on this, we've got Anthony Gordon, Jared Bowen, Ethan Nwaneri, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Marcus Rashford, Jack Grealish, Raheem Sterling, and Jadon Sancho. And looking at the bottom 3.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think this list is, you can edit that
but
one.
I've had to put...
No, you've done your due diligence. You've done your...
Bro, you should have seen my face when I was typing Sterling's name into this list. And you know I'm not a Sancho guy. And we've seen what Grealish is. Grealish is up in Newcastle after they beat Plymouth and he's celebrating. And
with the Pepsi, Grealish is so popular. Everybody follows him.
What's he supposed to do? But not get smashed in Newcastle after beating Plymouth in the FA Cup off the back of an absolute stinker season. How about that?
Again. Yeah, another stinker season.
But look, I've had to put them on the list. Is there any argument you can make for Tuchel lacking any of those bottom 3?
No, not the bottom 3.
No.
Sancho's not done enough.
Thomas Tuchel was the one who signed him.
And Sterling was due to be, in my mind, a player under Tuchel. But obviously Tuchel and the dynamics and everything left quite quickly. I don't think Sterling can get a call up. I mean, yesterday is Tierney. That can't happen. And there's no way, I mean, to be fair, Tuchel could be that petty, but there's no way that Tuchel's looking at Arteta bench Sterling for a left back and think, oh, well, this guy's definitely at the level for me to bring.
Yeah, agreed.
For my first England call up.
And if Tuchel wants to be petty, he can pick Reece James and Chilwell.
Yeah. There's more than enough.
He doesn't need to go here.
There's more than enough.
Sancho again, probably even more than Emil Smith Rowe. He's not a Tuchel player.
Yeah. And
Grealish I don't know what's too short. I don't think.
I
Looking
think
at
with
that
Sancho and
seriously.
Grealish, there is an element of like, I'm bringing an unserious person to the camp. Like this guy here in Albania or in Latvia or wherever, even if it's at home, he's telling the guys, let's go out tonight. He's telling the guys, let's do this, let's do that. Let's be on this, let's be on that.
You know, an interesting one, yeah. And obviously, we know Bukayo Saka would be the first winger on the team sheet if he was fit, but obviously he's not fit. But an interesting one. I know we said he was injured, and we said it was a bit irrelevant or not, but it could be an interest. Do you think Nonzino? We're talking about Sancho and the man wanted to go out, but Nonzino to me seems kind of like a Tuchel winger. But there's some good names on this list, and
Unfortunately for Nonzino, as I do agree with you that I think like Noni is like, for the next one when Tuchel makes 20 changes and only keeps 6 players.
yeah,
Nonzino is one of the guys that comes in.
I think Tuchel, he's a guy that Tuchel will want to have a look at close up.
100%. I agree with that. I think the difficulty for, like, if Nonzino was a left winger, I think he's in there.
Yeah.
The difficulty for Noni, I think, is that Bowen, in my mind, he doesn't have to go. I'm not like, oh, Bowen has to go.
I think those top two, Gordon and Bowen, have to go.
But I think Bowen should definitely go.
I think if Bowen's not on that squad, I think Tuchel's made the mistake. Just simple
especially with Saka out. But like,
yeah, but even if Saka was there, Bowen's the second choice.
That's my I agree with that. That's my mentality as well. And like, Bowen has been so consistent over the years. Bowen's even come back in the last 2 weeks and scored goals and helped his team wins and all this kind of stuff over the line. And I think Bowen is a Tuchel player because how we've been talking about, Tuchel will draw up one scenario to win a game. I think Bowen is capable of executing the one scenario.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, like
agreed. Well, I mean, he's won a European pedigree.
Yeah. To everything that you've just said,
he scored that goal.
Yeah. So I think
and Gordon's
got to go because
I don't think there is more of a Tuchel winger.
Yeah.
Anthony Gordon. Even Noni and Bowen and these guys were talking about, even Saka to an extent. Yeah, I think Saka's very Tuchel. But Gordon might be the most.
Yeah, I agree with you because he'll go back the other way.
Yeah.
And he will have no issues with that.
Every time Gordon gets the ball and Tuchel's telling him, "Rip your man."
So I actually think the 4 will be the 4. Like Gordon, Bowen. I think Ranieri will go.
Yes, I'm doing all right with the way I'm listing.
Yeah, I think
that's how we pick most of them.
Because you've said that Saka's out and Saka is out, and Arteta's going to hold Saka back and all this kind of stuff. If he's fit to play. I think how you've just said Tuchel wants to see Nonzino up front, up close, is how Tuchel wants to see what's Ranieri really on.
Yep.
Yeah. And with Saka out, and you can, even if Tuchel was just trying to get the system right, he knows this is a like-for-like swap in the system. So if this works, if the big dog back, it's going to work even better.
Yep.
So for that reason,
so you've gone Anthony Gordon, Jared Bowen, Ethan Ranieri, and Callum Hudson-Odoi.
And Hudson-Odoi, I think, has to go because Hudson-Odoi has had an unbelievable year, especially Chelsea links, all this other stuff. He wanted him at Bayern and all this kind of other stuff.
Unbelievable.
Okay, I've stretched.
Okay, I was gonna say because I checked the other day and I think Hudson-Odoi has 4 goals.
Yeah, you know, it's not so much the goal tally.
And he had a great weekend.
It's not so much the goal tally because Hudson-Odoi is like the anti-Bowen. Like Bowen,
yeah.
It's like, not that Bowen plays bad games, but Bowen could be out injured, or Bowen could be this, or Bowen could be that, and you look at Bowen's stats, and it's like, oh, Bowen's got 10 and 5, or Bowen's got 10 and 3. Whereas Hudson-Odoi, I've watched Hudson-Odoi put in very good performances.
Yeah. Agreed.
And be here
and not necessarily get GOA.
And not necessarily leave the game. As you say, with a goal or an assist. So I think those guys will go, and I think Hudson-Odoi deserves it just slightly more than Rashford. And Rashford's done well in the last couple of weeks. But Hudson-Odoi, I think, even in the last couple of weeks, has maybe been a better player than.
I think I agree. I'd take Gordon, Bowen, and Nwaneri, but I'm not taking Cho.
You're taking Rashford.
MR9.
I think Rashford.
We're back. The redemption.
I think Rashford.
I don't think Cho's been on the level. Cho's been good.
Cho's been on a better level than Rashford's been on this season.
This season for sure.
Yeah, not
for sure. Last couple of weeks though,
Cho's been
good. I don't know if he's been on a better level than what Rashford's been on in these early.
Because Rashford's still not scored yet for Villa.
Yeah, but look, he's probably got more assists than Cho.
Yeah, he probably does have more assists than Cho over the past couple of weeks.
And if I was to ask you now, who's going to end the season with more goals?
I would go Hudson-Odoi.
But it's close though.
It's close. It's close.
And Rashford's only started playing football in Feb.
The only reason I think Cho has to go is because Forest are third in the table when they've been there all season, and Cho's been a part of that, as opposed to Rashford, who's just found form after being in a diabolical situation. However, if I was Tuchel and Tuchel was to pick Rashford, he's picking Rashford to tell Rashford, make a move in the summer, make a move in the summer, make a move in the summer. Like he's telling Rashford,
as in like what, permanent to Villa?
Yeah, permanent to Villa or wherever it is.
Yeah.
But I know it will be like, yo, I wanted to pick you for the 2026 World Cup. I think you're that guy. I see your talent and ability, and there's a place for you in my squad, but you have to leave your situation. And I think Tuchel could pick Rashford just to tell him that face to face.
I think Tuchel.
But I would have to go with Cho.
Tuchel could pick Rashford because I think Rashford's a very much too. You know, you said fashion the game for one.
Yeah.
One thing.
But you got Bowen for that.
Why not have another one?
No, you got.
Yeah, well, if you got Bowen for that, what do you need to take Ethan for? What do you need to take Gordon for?
No. Ethan, you need to see, is the hype real? That's what Ethan's for. But when you know the hype's real. You know the hype's real. We know the hype's real.
Tuchel knows.
Tuchel needs to see it to believe it.
Tommy Tukes, he knows, man.
And Latvia couldn't be a more perfect game.
Yeah.
But I have to go Cho. Because I think Cho's had very.
We're not going to agree on this.
I think Cho's had a very good year, and I think Cho, if there's ever a time to pick, there might never be a time to pick Hudson-Odoi again. That's the thing. So you have to see him now, and if he can make the step up, but for Rashford, there will be another time. And I know we're on the whole, like, if Rashford doesn't make a move, he's done. But, like, I think there will be Rashford's name is so cemented. His legacy, he's done better than Cho, as you're saying. He's hit a level higher than Cho. So it will come back around. However, for Hudson-Odoi, with Saka out and other players out, if he does Grealish being shit, Sterling being poor, Sancho being poor,
the best player?
I think Cho's been better than Rashford, though.
Okay, fair. Because the Lewis Skelly Mitchell thing, we were like, Mitchell's been mashing work. And
but Lewis Skelly this season, he's hit some very high heights. Some heights that Mitchell hasn't hit.
Yeah.
You know, even in his 3 years.
Yeah.
Whereas with Hudson-Odoi, and Rashford's hit heights higher than Hudson-Odoi over his career.
Yeah.
But this season, it's been
Cho's definitely been better.
It's been his best season.
Yeah. Cho's you know what? I'm not mad at it. Yeah.
If you don't go for Cho now, and this is my final point, if you don't go for Cho now, you will never go for Cho, because players will be in better form or have the higher ceiling than Cho currently does right now. And Cho's just been consistent.
But I think Cho could get better.
Cho could get better, but I don't think he's ever gonna, like, the way. And it's nothing on Cho, because Cho is an exciting winger, but I don't think he could ever excite us the way Rashford has the potential to excite us. Even these guys, Grealish, Sterling.
Oh, I think he could.
Even Grealish, Sterling, Sancho, who we've all agreed are washed, I think have a higher, like, get you off your seats when they're on it than Hudson-Odoi.
I don't know, you know. Cho's game is nice.
Cho's game is nice.
Cho's game is
very nice. As I say, I'm not here to discredit Cho. I'm Cho in.
And the point you're making about the left wing stuff, yeah, if that's how Tuchel's looking at it after Gordon, I think before, like, we don't know where Rashford's going, yeah. And Rashford's my guy. I like Rashford. Even if Rashford's playing poorly, I still just kind of like Marcus Rashford. But I think Cho could be better than Rashford next season, even if Rashford leaves Man United. I think that's a possibility.
And you know what's crazy is,
I'm not necessarily. I hear your point, because it's like we've never seen Cho even be in consideration.
Yeah.
So this might be, but I think if he's hit a level now and he can kind of move. Obviously, Forest might not be in the same position. But Cho individually might be able to have a better year and whatnot. I think he might be able to still push for England squads in that left wing position.
I think for Cho, an unfortunate, like, I think Cho could have a better season next season. And if Rashford was to get a move to Villa, that's it. Rashford's going for the 2026 World Cup. Almost like, unless Rashford has.
Yeah, but what if Rashford then finds the clubs in Birmingham and he's going now?
I think even if Rashford has a poor season, like, Cho could get 8 and 6 next season and improve on this season.
Yeah.
But I think even if Rashford got 5 and 4 and it was less than Cho, because Rashford's done a full season at Villa and obviously he's shown some sort of commitment to football, as opposed to, like, just nothing at United, bench, boo. I think Rashford will probably go ahead of Cho, because Tuchel will see what Rashford can bring. And the one of the 5 goals that Rashford scores that's an absolute worldie is enough to get him over.
But then you know what's mad is that Rashford might have more goals than Cho this season.
He could do.
And he hasn't scored for Villa, so that's purely for United.
Rashford could have 2 braces. He could
he
could be Leicester and it could be whoever it is, and Rashford just get 2 braces and he's equals Cho's record because he's a goal scorer. He has that potential to be a goal scorer.
Yeah,
but I just think for Friday's games or this next Friday's games, wherever it is, I have to go Hudson-Odoi. Just to reward him for the consistency he's shown us. And as I say, there will be more chances for Rashford. I don't necessarily, and I agree that Cho could put in a better season next season. I still don't know if that pushes him into England contention.
You know what? Because Rashford has he's basically taken half a season off with whatever the fuck was going on at Man United. And I do think he's starting to hit a decent level again. But for what Cho's done throughout the season, I'll concede and I'll give that one to Cho. Reluctantly. Because you know how I feel about him.
Yeah.
So Gordon, Bowen, Ethan, and Cho. Well, quick word on Ethan. We had Ethan thrown in there straight away. Maybe we should justify that a bit, or
do we? I think fans,
they understand.
On this list, honestly,
do you think he'll make Tuchel's one on Friday? He's made R1 here in this pod. Do you think he's making Tuchel's one on Friday?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I genuinely do. The only reason I've sort of thought about it is because there is every possibility that Tuchel maybe plays a Foden right wing, not to appease him. Like, he doesn't think Foden's a right winger, but he's not getting Foden into the attacking mid position because he's already got Rodgers.
So he plays him.
So just to get him on the team sheet and stuff, he just plays him there, and he has Bowen as the backup. But I do genuinely think that Tuchel has more than just a passive interest in Wanyeri, and as I say, he is the backup to Saka for Arsenal. So why can't he for Arsenal? So why can't he be the same for England? And he might even be the backup to Saka anymore. He might just be the starter next to Saka.
Well, we can talk about that in MVPs and rookies. All right, cool. Gordon, Bowen, Ranieri, and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Strikers. The list, we've got Harry Kane, Ollie Watkins, Danny Welbeck, Liam Delap, Dominic Solanke, Tammy Abraham, Eddie Nketiah, and Ivan Toney. Now, again, the bottom 3, kindly, Ivan Toney, I haven't even seen clips of.
I was going to say, I was about to bring this up. Could Toney be the first guy to make it back from Saudi with any sort of relevancy? And this is only for England call-ups. I don't know if Toney's going to come back to the UK or come back to European football, but could that potentially happen in some respect where an English player goes to Saudi and the England manager still calls him up?
Jordan Henderson.
No, every Southgate thing has to be put under a different
huge Southgate tax.
Yeah, it has to be put under a different box. As I agree with you, I've not even seen a
I hear your point because
clip from Toney.
Tuchel wants Ivan Toney. If that's an Premier League Ivan Toney, there's no doubt about it.
And Toney can't come and demand starting minutes, bro. You are the impact sub. 10 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go, penalty shootout to go.
German, and he's going to look at guys that go to Saudi
a certain way. Your commitment to the game, where is that? I watch tape here every week. I'm watching tape. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think Toney's making the squad.
I don't think Toney deserves to make the squad more than, for example, Liam Delap.
Yeah, and we'll get Eddie. 1 Premier League goal.
Yeah.
I don't think Eddie's in the conversation.
Tammy's.
We've spoken. He's at Milan.
Yeah, he's at Milan.
Yeah, we've spoken.
And he's not gonna be at Milan next season.
Yeah. We've spoken about where Milan also. I don't think Tammy's, even though Tuchel's maybe got a bit of a connection there with Tammy again, the Chelsea thing, but we'll leave that. So Dominic Solanke is an interesting one. Where do you stand on him?
I don't think he gets called up.
Yeah,
I don't think he gets called up because
anything to do with his ability as a player, or just because he hasn't played enough.
I don't necessarily think his skill set is needed. Yes, the minutes thing does come into it, but when I think of Dominic Solanke, I'm thinking of good hold-up play, tidy sort of footwork, ability to bring people into play and stuff. And I honestly think that, and I think Solanke is a better hold-up guy than maybe Delap, but I think you can get enough of that from Delap, and obviously Kane's gonna go, and it's like, is Solanke the levels in what he does to get in ahead of Kane, Watkins, Welbeck? Because Welbeck's good at hold-up. Welbeck can bring people into play.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't even know if Welbeck goes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
look,
like,
I think we should only pick 3 strikers here. Right?
yeah.
So Kane and Watkins.
Kane and Watkins.
Banked, yeah.
Banked. And then for me, it'll be a toss-up between Delap and Welbeck.
Now, Danny Welbeck obviously hasn't made England squads for a while. But he's had a good season.
He's had a very good season.
He's had a good season.
I think he's had a very good season.
You're talking about hold-up play and linking it up. Danny Welbeck's potentially even better than Watkins at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, to Tuchel's, to the point that we just made about sort of Tony and that, Danny Welbeck isn't going to come and demand minutes. You know how the whole like Watkins last summer, play my son, and it's not Watkins coming out demanding minutes, but there's this like clamoring.
We're
not scoring goals. We need to play Watkins. I still don't even think.
And then Watkins comes and we do score goals.
But I still don't even think if England are scoring goals, there's going to be a clamoring to get Welbeck on. But Welbeck will be just a useful piece. Welbeck will come on for the 10 minutes you give him a hold.
You see the way Fabian Özil, he's got to have around and made him captain.
Yeah.
My one thing with this, and again, like we said, we're picking it for Friday's squad, so it shouldn't really matter too much. But I think it will play a part. Is that for Thomas Tuchel? Everything is just on the 2026 World Cup.
That
might be.
Is Welbeck going to be there?
That might be the only major tournament Thomas Tuchel manages England for.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
So, is Welbeck in 2026 after another year? Like he's what? He's got to be.
It's like the Stones thing.
He's got to be like 36.
Yeah.
37. Is that going to be the guy?
No.
That Thomas Tuchel picks to go and. So then it probably makes more sense to pick a Liam Delap.
I would have gone, and I was about to say, I really rate Welbeck and what he's done this season and just his career in general. But I would go Delap ahead of Solanke, ahead of Abraham Nketiah, ahead of Tony, because he is that, and not even just next up, like, in a couple of years' time. Like, he's got more than 10 goals in the Premier League this season. Delap is decent hold-up play, decent finisher. He can run in behind. I do feel like he is... X factor is the wrong word, but like he is something different. Like if it isn't what...
If Tuchel needs to throw someone on in the last 20 minutes to start causing problems...
literally.
For centre-backs.
And I would say that is the case. And like, I wouldn't throw Delap on as a winger, but like, I would say that's the case if he did need it to play. Like if Kane had to stay up top because the pen's coming, like shootouts are coming... and
Tuchel just go front too.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't bat an eyelid at throwing Delap in for a left wing shift for 10 minutes in extra time or 5 minutes in extra time.
Well, but given the wingers Tuchel's gonna have to pick.
I know.
I will bat an eyelid.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, if you needed to play Delap slightly out of position and ask him to run channels,
you can't ask Welbeck to. I mean, Welbeck runs channels.
He does, but like,
you can't ask him to go and do a shift out on the left.
If you need someone just to win that second ball, Kane's going to be up there and it's going to be knockdowns and all this kind of stuff.
Chase lost causes, hold people up. Even if it's a thing of like Tuchel's comfortable in a game to let the opposition dominate the ball. That Delap game against Chelsea is one of the best striker performances. Chelsea had 70-80% possession, and it was just Delap run and chase and take us forward, get us up the pitch. So I would agree. So what are we saying? Kane, Watkins, and Delap.
Yeah.
And I think Danny Welbeck is a bit harsh.
It is a bit harsh because he's had a very good season, and it's kind of like the Cho thing in reverse.
Yeah,
like,
this might be the only one.
Yeah, if not now, when do you pick Danny Welbeck?
But you're not going to bat for Welbeck like that. He just didn't want to see MR9.
No, because Cho definitely has, and Welbeck has had his career, England career and footballing career, and I respect both of those sides of things. And I would not be like throwing my toys at the pram if Welbeck was called up at all. Welbeck has been very good this season. I don't think anybody can say otherwise. And the good thing about Welbeck, he has this, and this is gonna sound crazy, he has this LeBron type now after being at Brighton. I'm just gonna make everybody better. I'm gonna play 1-2s with you. I'm gonna play 1-2s with you. I'm gonna bring you into play. And everybody just seems to look. Oh, they link up with Welbeck quite well, actually.
There has to be someone better that you can draw a comparison with, bro. Like, come on,
Welbeck and LeBron.
That's gonna be the title of this podcast.
World's
The LeBron James of soccer.
Yeah, exactly.
Danny Welbeck. Well, look, I've just looked at it, and we perfectly have 26 players. So we've done that perfectly. So I'll read it out now. And this is the squad that me and Michael would pick if we were picking on Friday. Pickford, Henderson, Ramsdale for the goalkeepers. For fullbacks, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Reece James, Tino Livramento, and Miles Lewis-Skelly. Centre-backs, Ezri Konsa, Mark Gahey, Ben White, Levi Colwill. Midfielders, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Conor Gallagher, Adam Morton, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Morgan Rogers, Morgan Gibbs-White. And then wingers, Gordon, Bowen, Ethan Ranieri, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and strikers, Kane, Watkins, and Delap. Quickly, before we go to MVPs and rookies, should we just build a starting 11 from
that? Pickford,
yep.
Trent,
yep.
Konsa, White. Left back, I would go for Livramento
over Lewis-Skelly.
As a starter, anyway.
Okay,
Skelly's good. The impact sub minutes.
Okay,
Skelly starting for England at 18.
To be fair, we can't put Ben White and Lewis-Skelly. That's a bit much, isn't it?
Midfield: Rice, Bellingham, Palmer in the 10.
Yep.
Right wing: Bowen, strike Watkins. Left wing, I would go for Gordon.
Striker Watkins, yeah?
Yeah.
So we're on the same page. That's literally the team I would have picked. I was going to say Ethan, but I always give Bowen his respect.
Yeah,
I know what Bowen's been on.
Start.
So
Ethan can come and get the shots per game.
And I was surprised that you've gone Watkins over Kane. You know, I've always been...
I think Kane is... He's not what... He's just...
We saw what happened in the Euros.
He's just like... I don't know. He's just...
Well, to be fair... For these qualifiers,
you can go
against Latvia and Albania, I will pick Harry Kane because there's nothing on the
penalty.
Harry Kane will turn up stat pad. But if we were going to a tournament and knockout stages of the tournament, then it would be Watkins.
I also just think that like England should just play with pace up top. Like, I get it. Kane's one of the best finishers of all time, and I think he might have more England goals than Rooney now and all of this kind of stuff. But I just think that like England, everybody knows what English football is about. It's fast paced, it's aggressive, it's strong, it's all of this kind of stuff. And sometimes from back to front, we're engineered to play that way until we get to the actual front bit. And then it all slows down. It all becomes a bit like we're Spanish and we're trying to do this and we're trying to do that. And Bro, let Palmer find Watkins. Let Palmer in the half turn find Watkins with a yard of space.
That's a nasty front four.
Just get shots on target and make the keeper force saves and get rebounds and let's have corners and like. I don't know if it needs to go up top and slow down. We're English football.
Kane hold it up and if Foden's in there.
And we're praising Kane for the 10-9 thing. Like when he does that for Tottenham and stuff and Bayern, it's cool. I get it. I appreciate it. But I don't think the whoever centre backs, you know, from whatever country really can keep up with Prem pace. And if you just put Watkins in behind 4 times, 5 times, 2 of them will end up in the back of the
net.
You know,
agreed.
Because either Watkins will score or sweat it to someone else who's just there for a tap in.
And Kane will always try and come to feet. But look, if you agree with what we've said, let us know in the comments. You've heard all the list of names that we've read out. If there's someone that you think should have gone, then let us know that as well. We'll move it on to MVPs and rookies. My first MVP, Jason Tatum.
Boo.
JT.
No, I'm joking.
My guy.
I can't boo JT.
40 points, 12 assists, 8 rebounds, I think it was.
Yeah, something like
against
that.
the Lakers in the big matchup. And
LeBron went off. And
he was doing it when LeBron was on the court. And guys are saying that Luka's never been mismatched like that. And Jason Tatum came out with a point to prove. He gets one from me. And my other basketball one, Kawhi Leonard, game winner. My sleepers in the West, you heard it here on the podcast. The Clippers are coming for something this playoffs.
I will give my MVP to the Cavs. Cavs won yesterday.
Yeah. You see the point split? It was like the Pacers.
17-13, 11-15-13.
Donovan Mitchell only got like 15.
Yeah.
Max Strus got 22. And
Yo, the Dwayne Wade. It's not Dwayne. What's his name? It could be Dwayne. Dean Wade. I keep calling him Dwayne because it's D Wade.
Yeah.
Dean Wade, who's the fourth guy on the bench, got 9 points.
Yeah. It's the Pacers stuff that.
And like T. Jerome got 9 points. Sean Merrill got 9
And
points.
Cavs are usually the anti-Pacers. Just
Tristan Thompson. 2 points. MVP from me. 3 minutes play, 2 points, 2 rebounds.
No. We're not doing that.
3 minutes, 2 points, 2 rebounds. My MVPs, you've already given one to JT. JT deserves one. Basketball's about the only thing I'm watching right now. Cho deserves an MVP.
About him, but he scored a great goal.
Cho does deserve an MVP.
I got Fabian Herzler.
Yeah.
Brighton have still only lost 6 games. I think they're 2 points off top 4 now.
Yeah, that is actually kind of crazy. That's very crazy. I have more rookies than I do have MVPs. Oh, MVP, Ankalaev.
Yep.
Gagey.
The highlight. Just in the highlight, Gagey. Enjoyed that fight. I shout out Fizia.
I was going to say, I shout out Fizia for taking that fight on short notice. My rookies, though, I've got Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Yes.
You've just thrown away 2 points.
There's absolutely no reason he should be where he is.
Do you know what? It's one of those games where I think like a keeper's bored because of how little action he's got. So he wants to make sure that the minimal stuff he does do, he does with such emphasis, and I'm a great keeper.
Yeah.
Because as you say, Son's not really going anywhere. Even if Son was to take the shot on,
still, Son's like...
Even if Son was to take the shot on, and Kepa was to be in goal from the angle that he's fouled Son at, bro, let Son take that shot. He has to beat you across your near post. You have a defender at the far post. It's like... So Kepa's just thrown away 2 points on the weekend. I
had Leverkusen.
Yeah.
For their midweek performance, let me down massively.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to that tie
That was bad.
And they threw it away. And I've got Odegaard and Marino as a combined one. Both of you can share that and hold that together.
Oderino.
Yeah, because
Rookie of the week.
It's just disastrous from
you give
both of you. Horrible performances again. And this is why we couldn't do a podcast on it, because what more is there to say?
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal are going to struggle to score goals. I think if you haven't...
Bruno Fernandes, I'll actually give an MVP. We had a conversation last week when I was doing the Bruno Palmer stuff, and it's interesting because Palmer's now missed another penalty, and it doesn't look like Palmer's played well.
Do you remember when I told you I was trying to run the who's been worse between Palmer and Odegaard agenda? And
yeah.
They both don't want to pick it up. They both don't want to pick it up.
And a lot of United fans are like kind of doing revisionism now, but obviously I said it last week. I do think he went from massively overrated to actually just a little bit underrated now.
Bruno deserves an MVP for the simple fact that like there has been a lot of down talk.
He's all they got in, man.
There've been a lot of down talk on his name, and as you say, he's just consistently been the only guy. If Man United get any points or any result, I know Bruno's tentacles are all over that.
Yeah.
And without that, I know there's no one else who's really gonna, especially with Ahmad out.
Yeah.
There's no one else who's really gonna turn this game around.
And I think even like Roy Keane obviously said what he said, and United fans get onto him.
I'll also give Sir Jim Ineos a rookie. I just feel like
I'm gonna watch that interview with Gary Neville.
No, he did one.
He's done one on the overlap. He's come out and said some crazy
I'll give Gary
stuff.
Neville rookie of the week. Bro. Anyway, I can actually give Sky rookie of the week every week.
Yeah.
I just feel as if the quality of analysis and stuff that we get in today's game, it's terrible. And I know it's not been the best season, so maybe why overanalyze it, but it's just angry old men now with clear bias. And there's not even
not just now.
There's not even a pretend.
I mean, how big a reason was what you're talking about now? The reason we started this podcast.
Yeah, but it honestly feels like more than ever, Oh, this Sky just it's like
falling behind.
it's like AFTV, or it's like AFTV is good because it's AFTV. They tell you from the jump, this is Arsenal football TV, and if you're coming here, you're probably either an Arsenal fan or an Arsenal hater.
Yeah.
But the whole like Gary's just gonna be MUFC TV on Sky, and Jamie's gonna be LFC TV on Liverpool, and now we're not gonna break down any other game. That there's no Bournemouth or Newcastle or whoever else. It's just, oh, Man United are down. This is terrible. Things are bad at Man United. Liverpool are up. Oh, this is great, Jamie. Liverpool are the best team in the country, and there's nothing in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, so whatever.
What are you gonna say about Sir Jim?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say about Sir Jim, the whole cutbacks and people can go and I'm really more so how quickly Sir Jim has eaten into the fans' goodwill. Because Man United fans for seasons were screaming about management and upstairs and Glazers have to go. And it's only been 7 months. And now it almost seems like everybody's like, oh yeah, Ineos are terrible. Ineos are shit. Let's get Ineos out. Yeah. I'll give Sir Jim like...
He's come out with some interesting quotes in this interview.
Is it?
He's come out and said things that like... Casemiro, Højlund, Onana, Anthony, Sancho, those were signings of the past and issues of the past and not things that we have done, and come out and saying that Ruben Amorim has done really well, in our opinion, from when he came in and mid-season, and the players that he has and what he's had to deal with. They've also said, Sir Jim came out and said that some of the players right now just aren't at the quality to play for Man United, and some of them are just overpaid.
That's crazy.
So I actually need to watch this interview. Yeah. And I'm seeing some of the like clips and stuff. I need to watch it.
We were speaking about this off air, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
We're even at a stage, as much as I've just killed Sky, this is not really a Sky thing, but like directors or owners of football club interviews now like this.
Bro, you can give Sir Jim a rookie for doing an interview with Gary Neville on the overlap. At least go to Stephen Bartlett or somebody.
He wanted a family-friendly setting.
You have to go to Gary Neville on the overlap to talk about...
I'll also give Gary Neville a rookie just on this point, because obviously it makes sense now why Gary's been so tight-lipped about upstairs management and Sir Jim stuff, because it used to be before. This club is falling apart.
Well, in the interview, Gary tries to get onto the Glazers and said, and that's obviously who Sir Jim fucking was.
Bought the club. Yeah.
So Sir Jim's like, well, the Glazers, there's a lot said about them, and Gary's like not having any of it, and he's saying, no, they've done this and
I need to see that for sure.
But yeah, so that'll be interesting. You got anything else?
No. Not really, man.
Who's the guy that did the spinning roundhouse kick to knock that guy out?
Oh, Ruffy.
He
knocked out like Bobby
Ruffy,
Green or something.
Was saying that could be knockout of the year.
Yeah, that was a very good knockout.
But look, thank you guys for listening. Look, if you wanted to hear a roundup this week, then our apologies, but I'm hoping most of you guys watching this didn't want to hear a roundup this week after
because you actually watched the games and you saw how terrible this
and we've actually helped you out by giving you something else you can watch.
Exactly.
That kind of takes you away from that. I enjoyed this. I thought this was good. Picking this squad. So thank you guys for listening. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Please subscribe, like, and let us know what you think. We'll see you next week. Peace.